Okay, good evening, everyone. This is officially starting our team call. I am going to go over some ideas, and not so much ideas as just kind of reminders, because I think a lot of you guys know this, of how to set ourselves up for success in 2017. So last week, and then I have lots of announcements at the end. So last week we talked about some ideas on how to effectively work your business through the holidays, and kind of, not that you want to take advantage of that, but taking advantage of the season at hand and how people operate differently in different times. And so that's what we talked about last week. And this is going to piggyback a little bit on that. But I want to talk about just some ways to kind of get our business set up for success in 2017. So the first thing I'm going to say is the same thing I say all the time. And that's just going to be working your business. Your daily IPA of income producing activity is huge, huge, huge. Sorry, I'm checking here. Okay. And I think the biggest thing, obviously the main three things are sharing on social media, sharing in real life. We'll put those together. Reaching out to people and following up. Those are going to be your, so that's 4, I guess, technically. Those are going to be your biggest things. And what I want to challenge you guys to do in this season now, and I mean like this week, is really to follow up with every single person you've ever talked to about Plexus. And here's why. Because I shared last week, I'm hoping for something at the end of the month, New Year's, end of the month, New Year's special or sale, because that has happened in the past. But even if we don't have a sale, you're setting yourself up, there's my husband, you're setting yourself up for a follow through and results on your IPA. So if you are doing IPA, Jill, I'm laughing so hard because for some reason you're on my screen doing your laundry. But I think I'm the one that's being recorded. So I don't think you're being recorded. Oh, but it's just funny. Anyway, so as you work your IPA now, you're setting yourself up for results in the new year. And this is part of what I want to tell you is it's very easy in this time, this little season right now, there's a lot going on. I was telling somebody today, I feel like I can't keep my head screwed on straight between 3 different Christmas parties for the kids and 3 different teacher things and 3 different craft things and Christmas programs, and not to mention Christmas shopping and our own things and church things and so many things that I feel like it would be very easy to allow ourselves to slump back and be like, okay, everybody's busy. Nobody's going to answer me anyway. Nobody's ready to start now. Nobody's going to start something new in the middle of December, and give ourselves these excuses and allow ourselves to sit back and just coast. And what I want to tell you is don't do that. Don't allow yourself to slide into that, oh, it's slow anyway, I'll just pick up in January. Because here's why. As you reach out to people now, you're going to find out where they're at, right? And it's going to give you something to follow up with in the future. So many people might tell you, you know what, after the holidays, I'm really interested. I'll get back with you after the holidays. In January, I'm really interested. This is what I want to do. What you do then is say, great, I'm so excited. I will reach out to you in January, or, I will get back to you after Christmas. But that way, it, number 1, gives you a reason to follow up. Number 2, they've already said what they want to do. As people, it is normal for us to resist change. It's normal for us to resist commitment to something that might be different. So it's normal for our potentials to always come back with a later date. So if you make up their mind for them and you tell yourself, well, so-and-so's busy, they're not going to be interested right now, I'll reach out in January. Well, when you reach out in January, they might have another reason why they need to wait. Whereas if you reach out now and they tell you January, then you have something, a commitment to hold them to. And not that you want to push people to do something they don't want to do, but we know these products can help people. We know this business can help people. So when you're reaching out now, you are giving them an opportunity to say, yes, I'm ready now, or to say, you know what, follow up with me in January. Or maybe they don't use those words, but I think I'll be interested, I'll be ready in January. And so then you have something to reach back with them in January and say, hey, I'm just touching base. I hope you had a great Christmas. I'm super excited for the new year. I know you said you were interested in starting Plexus in January, and I wanted to touch base and see how I can help you work through your last questions so we can get you started. So then you have a place to go from. So that's the first thing. The second thing is I love to be able to look at my list of potentials and know where everyone's at. Now, one thing that I hope you guys know about me is I never, ever, ever want to be pushy. I never want to try to manipulate someone into doing something that they don't want to do or they can't afford. So that's something I want to clarify, that that's not what I'm saying. And it's super important to be respectful of what people are telling you. You want to build that relationship as you are prospecting them and as you're talking with them as your potential, but remembering that most of these people are probably already your friends. And so keeping that friendship in mind, and if it's not somebody that was a friend, if it's somebody that you met just because of Plexus, then you want to cultivate a trusting relationship. You don't want them to look at you as someone who's just out for the money, someone who's just trying to push for a sale. You want to cultivate that trusting relationship. So respecting what they say. And if they say, you know what, reach out to me in January, or maybe I'll be ready in January, well, great. Like I said, what I just said a while ago, follow up, use that as an opportunity, write it down. Here's another thing, guys, don't fly by the seat of your pants this month. It's easy sometimes to fly by the seat of your pants, but often when we do that, we drop the ball. When I don't write down who I've spoken to and record it somewhere, even if it's on a sticky note on my fridge, then I forget and I lose it. And it's easy for us to say, well, I can scroll through my messages, or I can look through my email, but people fall through the cracks. So write people down, write their names down, write down where they're at. If you run into somebody and they tell you they're interested, write their name down when you get home, or send yourself a text message or an email so that you don't forget to follow up with them. I love to be able to look at my list and know where somebody's at. Okay, this person said January, so I'm going to respond to them. I'm not just going to ignore them till January. I'm going to respond to them, and then I'm going to follow up in January. This person said they have financial issues, and this is what I want to tell you. We know all the things, right? We know, I 100% know that if somebody is willing to commit to taking our products properly, they're going to benefit physically. I know that. I have zero doubt of that. I know that if someone commits to working this business consistently, they're going to see financial results. I know that, but not everybody's there yet. So making sure that, as we come back, well, I don't know the right word for it, as we come back, as we respond to whatever their reason is, whatever their answer is, that we're being respectful, but we're also not like blowing their head out of the water. Like if somebody says they have financial issues, coming back and being like, well, you need to sign up for the business. That might work for some people, but that's not necessarily going to work for a lot of people. So, I will absolutely mention the business, but a lot of times I say, you know what, I totally understand. Relate to them with where they're at. For me, and this is my story, so obviously use your own story. Don't say this if it's not true. But I say for me, you know what, when somebody gives me the financial reason, I say, you know what, I totally understand. Honestly, for me, if it wasn't for my Plexus business, I couldn't afford my products. And that's true, guys. Like before Plexus, we couldn't have afforded to take Plexus products every month. We just couldn't have. And so, that's something I say, you know what, I totally understand where you're at. There's two things I come back with, depending on what the person is interested in, depending on who they are and whatever. Number one, I totally understand. I'll keep my ears open, and when we have a sale, I'll let you know. And sometimes that person may just be telling you that they can't afford it because they're not interested and they don't know what else to say. Sometimes, people, just like we struggle with the right words to use, so does everyone else. And so sometimes people will give you an excuse, and that excuse isn't really the real reason they're saying no. Sometimes we have to dig a little bit, right? We're all like onions, right? Peeling back the layer. So sometimes you have to get to the root of what their real issue is. But the only way to do that, especially if you're not if you're best friends and you can be like, come on, be real, then that's different. But if you're not, is addressing whatever they're telling you. So if they're telling you, you know what, I don't think I can afford this. Well, coming back, I totally understand that. You know what, I'll let you know when we have a sale. Or, you know what, I totally understand that. I was in the same boat. If you're interested in getting the cost of your products covered, even if you're not interested in the business, if you're just interested in getting your products for free, let me know, and I'm happy to show you how to do that. It's really not difficult. And that way you're putting in their mind, okay, I don't have to go full-fledged for this business just to get my products paid for. So that's something else to think of. So making sure in this early December IPA, where we're following up with our people, and obviously continue reaching out. But as the year comes to an end, I want to follow up with every single person I've spoken to this year about Plexus. And you know what? If it's somebody since April and you've dropped the ball on follow-up, be honest. Hey, I know we talked in April, but it's December, and I'm trying to make sure that I touch base with every single person that have been interested in Plexus in this past year, because I want to make sure everybody has their questions answered. And if they're ready to get started on their health journey in January, I want to make sure they're ready to go. So take the fall for it. If the conversation just ended and they never responded, take the fall for it. Reach out. Hey, I know I dropped the ball on following up. I wanted to check in and see where you were at with Plexus. Do you have any questions I can help you work through so that you're ready to get started when the year starts? So, that's why I'm focusing on follow-up right now, but absolutely still be reaching out. But so as people are coming back with you with whatever they're saying, yes, sign me up. No, I'm waiting till January. I can't afford it. Being mindful that however we're communicating in our response is going to set the tone for these next few months, whether they order or not. No one likes to feel like they're being blown out of the water. So being mindful of that, because it's easy for us to get excited, right? Like, we love the products. We love the business. And I was just telling Christina the other day, it's honestly hard for me now to wrap my mind around the fact that someone would want to get a holiday job at Target or at the mall, because I understand the power and the fullness of what we have in network marketing, regardless of Plexus, in network marketing. And then Plexus is honestly, guys, it's the best. Like, I could go on and on about why it's the best, but our business model is brilliant. Our compensation plan is amazing. It really is the best. So it really does, am I at diamond income? No, but I know that I'm going to get there, and I know that it's doable. And that's what blows my mind. The concept of trading my hours for $8.50 an hour is like mind blowing to me. So anyway, that was a trail off there, but let me take a look at my notes. The other thing I wanted to say is, don't make up people's minds. I know I talked about that in follow-up. Like, don't assume they're going to say January, but also don't assume that they're not ready to order now. So in your follow-up, don't necessarily follow up with the, the attitude in your follow-up that it's going to be January, but follow up like you normally would any other month, about now, and then understanding that they may come back with the January mindset, but just, not underestimating what someone might want to do. Let's see. Just double checking. Okay, so the last thing I want to say is, as you are doing that follow-up, making sure that you are leaving the door open for yourself in the future. So, if somebody talks about finances, like I said, letting them know you'll get back to them if there's any sales. If somebody talks about after the holidays or the new year, or fill in the blank, whatever their thing is, letting them know when you're going to follow up next. And that saves you from feeling like you're bothering them. Because if you say you followed up today and they said, whatever their reason was, and then we have a sale on Saturday, don't foresee that coming, but say we did. And then it's easy to be like, oh, I just talked to them and they said they weren't going to be ready till January, or I just talked to them and they whatever. When you give yourself an open door to follow up, you don't feel that awkwardness about following up, because you are following through with what you said you would do. And that's professional. So doing what you said you would do. But in order to give yourself that window, you have to say what you're going to do. So telling people, thanks so much for getting back to me, even if they just say, I'm not ready, or no, thank you, or, thanks so much for getting back to me. I hope you have an awesome holiday. I hope you have a great Christmas, whatever they celebrate, whatever. I hope you have a great Christmas. I'll check back in such and such, or, I hope you have a great Christmas. I will let you know, if anything comes across my path that I think you might be interested in. Even if they say no, like, I don't think I'm interested, but that they've got fibromyalgia, then when you see a fibromyalgia testimony, you can get back to them. Hey, I know you said you weren't interested, and that's totally okay if you still feel that way, but I saw this and I thought of you and I wanted to pass it on. And, I always give that out of, I know you may not be interested, because then they don't feel like, okay, I told Rachel no and she's still harassing me. You know what I mean? Like, we don't want to harass people, but we also want to follow up. And how many people, I think a lot of times we get in our minds that follow up is with the people who said they're interested. And yes, you absolutely follow up with people who said they're interested. But when you listen to these diamond training calls and they talk about, so-and-so reached out to me and I said no 7 times. They said no. They weren't interested, and they weren't being followed up with as a potential that was interested. They were being followed up with because that other person, their sponsor, knew they'd be a rock star. So they didn't let them go. So those follow-ups are also key, and making sure we're doing it in a way that cultivates a trusting relationship and not an annoying relationship. So those are just kind of a few tips of how to take advantage of December. And the last thing I want to say, and then I want to ask Chris to share something that she shared with me earlier today, but I want you to really grasp the importance of doing this now. The longer you wait for your IPA, so I'm going to be real with you guys. When I get busy, it's easy for me to think of the minimum I need to do. Like, okay, I'm going to follow up with however many people. I'm going to reach out to however many people. I'm going to post them on the team page. I'm going to post on my personal wall. Shoo, I did that, moving on. But I really want you to grasp the importance that now, even more than normal, is an important time to amp up your IPA, because we're going to see that fruit. January, February are huge for New Year's resolutions. March and April are huge for heading into spring and summer, and people are thinking about getting healthy and getting thin and all of those things. And so what we do now sets the pace for our network in January to April. So don't allow yourself to want to fall back, but really push yourself forward to get those things out of the way now. So Chris is going to share just some thoughts from her last year.
All right. Sorry, I'm sitting in the car because my house is a madhouse and I was out. So that's why I'm creepy here. But anyway, so I was telling Rachel today that last year I signed on in February 28th, 2015. And from the door, I always had really good PV. And, in the beginning, I think the way that Rachel and I were also talking about this, the way we've trained our teams is to work on that PV, because that's the majority of your income when you're at the lower ranks. So I always maintain that PV. And then going into December, I remember thinking and hearing everywhere, well, we're going into busy season. We got New Year's resolutions, January, February, they're huge. I mean, you listen to these diamond training calls and all they're going to tell you is how huge January and February are. So December last year, I actually went to California for 2 weeks for my brother-in-law's wedding over Christmas holiday. And even to this day, my biggest struggle is to stay motivated past the 15th. A big goal setter. I get my goals done by the 15th. And then, I have to keep myself moving the rest of the month to remind myself that anything over that is icing. Well, last year I kind of decided I was going to go into cruise mode. I'd kind of hit all the goals I wanted to hit, and January was coming. That's our busy season. Well, let me tell you that January and February last year were my worst months. And they were when my PV went from a consistent 1,800 to 2,000 down to 1,000. And they've actually never been over. My PV's never been over 1,500 ever since then. My focus has changed in my business, but I say all this to say that the 90-day rule is real, guys. When they say what we do today affects our business in 90 days, it's real. The choices I made in January to kind of let myself cruise, it was a really poor business decision, and it affected the first quarter of my business. So you're going to see now in January, they're going to announce where convention's going to be, and there's going to be the convention contest, and we're going to want to earn prizes for that. Guys, I barely earned winner's dinner, which shouldn't have been the case if I had kept my momentum. And I didn't. The first quarter of last year, I bottomed out, and it was all directly reflecting on my decisions in December to cruise. So, it's really easy to find excuses. I'm going away. The babies are difficult. It's just going to be today. I'll do it tomorrow. Or even as Rachel was talking about, just really quick, I'll do a little bit of follow-up right now, and, you're not actively reaching out. This is the time to push past all the excuses and to dig really deep and truly go for no, because what we will reap in the new year, that's going to create momentum. And that's a whole other thing Rachel and I were talking about, that we've been really consistent and we've had really good retention, but momentum is something that we have lacked as a team. And I really believe with everything in me, if we put our heads together, we brainstorm, and we take these last 2 weeks of December to give it all we've got, despite the holidays, despite everything else, that we're going to see momentum in the new year. And I think that we're able to learn from the mistakes we made last year and do something different and do something challenging, and to, stretch past that comfort zone even more. Go for No talks about that a comfort zone is always changing. It's never stagnant. It's either growing or it's shrinking. And what do you want your comfort zone to be? Do you want it to grow, or do you want it to shrink? So that's a challenge I have for you guys in these last 2 weeks of the month, because what we do to finish out this year is how the first quarter of our next year is going to be.
Yes, thank you. And I just wanted to put my extra 2 cents on what Chris said about reaching out. I know I focused a lot of what I said on follow-up, and I just want to affirm, you also absolutely want to be reaching out right now, because then those are the people that you're going to be able to follow up with in those busy months. So making sure that you are reaching out to people. If you're somebody that you have been scared to reach out to, reach out to them. If there's somebody that you keep putting off, reach out. Absolutely reach out, because like I said, right now, as you reach out to people, yeah, they might not be ready, but that's always going to be the case, whether it's December or February, it doesn't matter. So reach out now, so that then in those 90 days, like Chris mentioned, the 90-day rule, and not, it's not always 90 days. Sometimes it's 15, sometimes it's 85, but in that range, sometimes it's 2 years, but in that range, people you reach out to now are going to be the people that you're signing and adding as customers in January to April. So, continuing to reach out. So I want to go over a few announcements. Okay, so first of all, I've been posting, I don't know if you've noticed, I've been posting less on the team page, because I really want you guys to be watching both sets of those 12 days of Christmas videos. They're short. Most of them are under 10 minutes. Many of them are under 5 minutes. There's one set are the 12 days of diamonds, and one set are the 12 days of our Plexus Christmas. I think it's what it's called. But it's 2 separate threads. I'm not posting a video every day because I didn't want it to flog the team page. They're 2 separate threads, and all the videos are in the comments. So I think we're up to day 7 and day 6, I think. Day 7 and day 8, I don't know. I've been putting them in the comments. So watch those. They're super, super, super good. There's also a live replay that Peggy posted the link to the live event with the diamonds. If you click on that, it's a live replay through tonight, I think. And then once all of the testimonies get approved by compliance, it will be a public link on YouTube. So, but it's going to be taken down after tonight. So hop on there and watch it if you haven't. That's what I plan to do after we get off this call. So the videos. The second thing I want to say is, starting tomorrow, I am going to launch a 12 days of IPA. IPA stands for income producing activity, if you did not know that. And along with that, I'm also going to be doing some Christmas gift giveaways in relation to our IPA. So as you do these IPA challenges, and I will do a video with the details about it tomorrow, but as you do these IPA challenges, there's going to be opportunities for you to earn entries to win gifts throughout the last bit of December. So, and it's not going to be you have to do everything. It's more of whatever you do, you get entered in, and the more you do, the more entries you get. So that is coming tomorrow. Let's see. So December 15th, that is Thursday. Our Blitzen for Christmas Cash ends on December 16th. So December 15th, Thursday night, I am going to do a team-wide Zoom, opportunity Zoom, like we've done in the past, to help you guys and me close the deal on any of your potentials that you've got in the works for this Blitzen for Cash. Even if you're not focusing for that, or if you've already earned that, to still use that opportunity for the Zoom, for like we talked about all throughout this whole call, is still use that as an opportunity. So it will be Thursday night at 8:30 Eastern, Zoom event. I'll put all the info up tomorrow, so you can go ahead and start inviting people, and we will have that. And then if we have a sale or whatever at the end of the month, I'll do another one in the midst of that sale, so we can kind of capitalize on that. January 22nd, we are going to have a local sip and see at my house. It's a Sunday. That's 2 weeks after Super Saturday. So for those of you that are local or semi-local, that gives us 2 weeks. I'm really hoping that Super Saturday will kind of give us all a kick in the pants, and those of us who may not be working our business as much as others, that's totally okay. We all get to set our own pace, right? But that gives us 2 weeks after Super Saturday to invite people and get that rolling. So January 22nd, my house, Sunday afternoon, 3 o'clock. And the very last announcement, make sure I have everything, is starting December 15th. This was Christina's idea. I loved it, so I'm going to do it for our whole team as well, is doing a silver slam. So anyone who ranks silver from December 15th to December 31st for the first time will get a cash bonus, and anyone who adds 3 ambassadors with a welcome pack and with their backup order turned on will also get a cash prize. So you can stay tuned for details coming on that. Chris, did you want to add anything to that, or did you want to add anything in general to any of the things?
No, that's all perfect. Obviously, yeah, so Rachel is going to do it for all of Team Burden. And then for anyone I'm rating on Neptune, I'm also going to do it. So there's a lot of money to be made. Well, I guess we'll post the details on our own Silver Slams on our team pages for whoever it pertains to. But huge opportunity. I mean, adding 3 people in a month is so doable. I've seen many people on this call right now add several people in a month. So, 2 weeks is tons of time in Plexus time.
Absolutely. Does anybody else have anything they want to add or anything they want to ask? Wisdom, questions?
That diamond video from last night is already private.
Oh, no. I missed it.
I went to finish watching it this afternoon and it's already down.
Oh, no. I hope that doesn't mean that it's not going to be approved. Like, I hope they didn't take it down because they found something not compliant.
Jana seemed to think that it was going to go back up after compliance approved it.
Hopefully it gets approved. Thank you for sharing that.
I was just thinking ahead to January. Did we want to do another 21-day challenge in January?
Yes, that was on my list. I just didn't write it down. Yes, let's do a little brainstorming. I think it would be great to offer something health focused, maybe starting 1.5 weeks into January. And then we can, have that to offer to our people. So yes, let's brainstorm on the side. Anyone that's interested in that, maybe I'll start a thread on Team Burden, and anyone that's interested can comment and we can do a chat thread and organizing that. Hi, Mary Ellen, I just saw you. Have you been here the whole time? Okay, anybody else have anything? Okay, well,